evening and welcome to this edition of the Evening News for today, Saturday, April 2nd, 2022. I am Timothy Jaikran. Thank you for tuning in. In the headlines, CANU destroys US $2.5 million in marijuana. Dubai company looking to establish air cargo terminal in Guyana. Government greenlights EXXON'S YELLOWTAIL development project. Traffic chief calls for removal of vagrants and vendors from intersections. And teenage girl defies odds to work as excavator operator. Now for the news in detail. We begin tonight's newscast by telling you that the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit, CANU, this morning facilitated the destruction of some 1,500 kilograms of marijuana that was seized at ports and residences. In this Rupsinarang report, you will hear that CANU head James Singh has lauded the collaborative efforts between law enforcement agencies in curbing narcotics trade in Guyana. Let's have a look.
Since it is imported marijuana, head of CANU James Singh said the drugs destroyed carry a street value of $2.5 million. He credited the agency's increased success to enhanced interagency collaboration and intelligence gathering with the joint services. Cocaine has not been destroyed as yet, Singh noted, due to pending matters before the courts.
Increased success is a result of support from the Ministry of Home Affairs, the government again on a whole, as well as more interagency collaboration. 90% of our operations we do are as a result of intelligence sharing among Guyana Police Force, Guyana Defense Force, and it's part of the whole national security strategy ensuring safer communities, safe country.
Meanwhile, Home Affairs Minister Robeson Ben underscored that Guyana is merely a transit point and not the final destination of such narcotics. In light of this, he has called for greater support from countries to interdict the movement of narcotics.
I would just want to remind persons that Guyana may be considered a minor transit point for the movement of narcotics overseas. We are not the users and the buyers of narcotics which are leaving the country for other destinations. And so we continue to look forward to, and we are asking for more support, particularly from those countries which are the final destination of these narcotics. I think we have a desperate need there, and if we get more support in terms of assets, we'll do a much greater, better job in respect of interdicting the flow of narcotics.
The Home Affairs Minister noted that discussions and moderate support have surfaced from its international counterparts on curbing narco-trafficking. Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
The Dubai National Air Travel Agency is exploring the establishment of an air cargo terminal at Guyana's Chedijagan International Airport. Discussions in this regard were held when President Dr. Irfan Ali met with the company's CEO of New and Emerging Markets International Airport Operations, Janice Balkins, on Friday at the office of the President in Georgetown. The head of state highlighted the tremendous opportunities which exist to create not just a terminal but a hub at the CGIA. In sharing his observation, the Dubai official pointed to the positive signs that there is business here in Guyana. The Dubai National Air Travel Agency, which was established in 1959, ensures the aviation industry operates smoothly and efficiently in 131 airports across the Middle East, Europe, Asia, Pacific, Africa, North America, and South America. It offers ground handling, cargo, travel, and flight catering services. It is also the strategic partner of WestJet and hundreds of other airlines. Public Works Minister Juan Egil, Minister within the Public Works Ministry Deodat Indar, and CEO of the CGIA Ramesh Gir also attended the meeting. The Guyana government on Friday signed the petroleum production license, paving the way for United States oil giant ExxonMobil to commence its fourth development project offshore Guyana, the Yellowtail development. More in this report.
The petroleum production license for the Yellowtail offshore development in the Stabroek Block was signed by Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat and EXXON'S local affiliate SO Exploration and Production Guyana Limited, EEPGL. The Yellowtail project was approved after extensive reviews done by local and international experts, including British firm DEFIES oil and gas consultants and Canada-based Redford Group. They reviewed the Yellowtail development plan in keeping with internationally recognized standards within the oil and gas industry. The team of technical experts also assessed the project to ensure that all relevant regulations are complied with and that they can be enforced, as well as ensuring enhanced environmental safeguards. According to Minister Bharat, government and its regulatory agencies are satisfied with all the reviews and long hours invested by both local and international experts to finally have a licensing agreement for the Yellowtail project, which will benefit all Guyanese realizing the One Guyana vision. Moreover, this project will build on the recently sanctioned local content legislation for each stage of the project as it relates to workforce development, supplier development, and overall strategic investments. Only on Friday, the Environmental Protection Agency also announced its approval of the project's environment permit. The Yellowtail project in the Stabroek Block offshore Guyana is expected to produce up to 250 barrels of oil per day after startup in late 2025 using the One Guyana floating production storage and offloading FPSO vessel. The US $10 billion development project will target an estimated resource base of about 900 million oil equivalent barrels, and this is now the largest single investment in the history of Guyana. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa has said that countries in the developing world will have to lead efforts to mitigate the impact of climate change on their economies, since they stand to lose greatly and are more affected when compared to developed nations. Here is Rupa Ryan with the details.
Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa underscored during Day 4 of the FAO Conference for Latin America and the Caribbean the threats which Guyana and other developing countries face from climate change, especially in the area of agriculture.
We have to ensure that we protect the climate and lead by example. We cannot allow the developed world to dictate for us. We here, and we are a powerful voice in Latin America and the Caribbean. And we must come out with this voice here at after this conference to say that we are willing to protect our environment. We are willing to lead from the front, and we will ensure that the environment is there for us to produce.
He stressed that Guyana is considered a low emitter but remains among the most affected by emissions of the developed world. The region, he noted, must be prepared to use its collective voice to advocate for equitable treatment in this climate change struggle.
The urgency to address the climate change challenge being faced is evident, as the world is still far short of where it needs to be to curb the impacts of climate change, as CO2 emissions are on track for the second highest or biggest increase in history. That's the conclusion of COP26. But what are the developing world doing to curb climate change? We in the developed world, we in the developing world are faced with this problem because our economy depends on agriculture. And for us to produce, we have to have a climate that can help us to produce in a way that is feasible. So as country, we will have to take steps. As developing countries, we will have to take steps to curb climate change. We will have to lead in this area.
On Guyana's part, the low-carbon development strategy and government's robust initiatives were brought under focus as selling points towards achieving this target. Earlier this week, Vice President Dr. Barrett Jagdeo facilitated a meeting with stakeholders from the coastland to discuss the government's national strategic flood protection measures, where he underscored the need for adaptation at the earliest. Rupa Sinarain, The Evening News.
Coming up on the other side of the break, teenage girl defies odds to work as excavator operator. Please stay tuned.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Satco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store, located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rheinveld.
Oh, how I love my Fruta. Wherever you're pouring, I know if you love Fruta as much as I do, you'd go for the 1 liter. It's the same great taste, same trusted goodness, packed with vitamins for the whole family. But now it's just a whole lot more for you to enjoy. Only $380 nationwide. Fruta. Oh, how I love my Fruta. Wherever you're pouring, I know if you love Fruta as much as I do, you'd go for the 1 liter. It's the same great taste, same trusted goodness, packed with vitamins for the whole family. But now it's just a whole lot more for you to enjoy. Only $380 nationwide. Fruta.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. We now tell you that a 37.8 million modern magistrates court was on Friday opened in Kwakwani, Region 10, and is slated to commence the hearing of several cases, including murder and sexual offenses. Find out more in this report.
So one flat retrofitted courthouse is aimed at making access to justice easier for citizens. So court, which consists of living quarters for magistrates and court staff, briefing rooms for lawyers and prosecutors, and a lock-up for prisoners, will sit on the first and third Fridays of every month. At the commissioning ceremony on Friday, Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Yonit Cummins Edwards, noted this new facility as enhanced access to justice for residents of Kwakwani.
You are having justice at your doorsteps. You're having access to justice. It is not devoid of technology. We have technology such as recording units, internet services, though we have some challenges here in the community with bandwidth. But where those challenges present themselves, we are prepared for in-person hearing. There are quite a number of cases in this district: traffic offenses, assault, a few murders, attempted murders, a few sexual offenses, a few noise nuisances, threatening behavior, domestic violence, and of course the famous breaking of the curfew, which is now a thing of the past. We wish to tell the residents to keep it on this low side, continue to keep the peace, and to maintain law and order.
Meanwhile, Attorney General and Legal Affairs Minister Anil Nandlal lauded the judiciary for expanding its reach to rural areas. He posited that the country cannot advance or achieve the goals of a modern civil and democratic society if the judiciary is left behind.
Many times you hear a lot about access to health care, and access to housing, and access to water, and access to other important facilities. Access to justice is equally as important, if not perhaps the most important, of all the rights that a citizen is entitled to. And that is why our government is committed to resource the judiciary as far as possible. Based, of course, I hear the rounding applause, and I welcome that, based upon what we can afford.
Magistrates' court sittings in Kokwani began in January 2001 under the tenure of the late former Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Cecil Kennard, and were held at various public buildings in the community. Shade Marks, The Evening News.
Lawanda McAllister joins us now to report that head of the Guyana Police Force's Traffic Department, Ramesh Ashram, is calling for the removal of vagrants and vendors who ply their trade at traffic intersections. According to the traffic chief, they pose dangers not only to themselves but to other road users as well. Here's more.
The police force over the years has been working tirelessly with a number of fatalities on the roadways. As such, Traffic Chief Ramesh Ashram has made a stern call on the Human Services Ministry to assist with the removal of vagrants from the roads. In fact, Ashram disclosed that 3 persons lost their lives in 2021 as a result of being at intersections, adding that this has to stop.
This is a big one on the roadway. Vagrants. All the traffic lights. When we look at road safety, as I mentioned, is everybody business. And all stakeholders need to be on board. Who using the road on a daily basis? You see beggars, people selling water on the road, at the busy intersection.
The intersections where persons are usually involved in accidents are Eccles, Peters Hall, the Harbour Bridge on the east bank of Demerara, and Mandela Avenue in Georgetown. The traffic chief further said that human service has to play a part in getting those persons off the streets to aid in the reduction of road fatalities.
And all the 3 vagrants or the beggars that were killed on the road, they were hit by lorries. Can they use the road anyway? And they don't understand. A driver in a lorry can't see immediately down in front or around the vehicle. And at all 3 times they attempt to cross, the opportunity to cross in front of the lorry.
Ashram further noted that recently, motor lorries have become a major issue for the police force, not only causing accidents but traffic congestion.
One of the biggest hurdles in East Bank is lorries. From last year to date, is in excess of 1,000. 1,000 of these big lorries. If you look at the Junior Sammy and the Exxon and the Continental, and all these lorries using the East Bank.
2 years ago, the Guyana Police Service commenced restricting container trucks and lorries along the roadways during peak hours. This was in order to ease traffic congestion. Lawanda McAllister for the Evening News.
In the wake of mounting concerns by both the Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago manufacturing sectors about trade barriers preventing the export of Guyanese goods into the Twin Island Republic, the country's Trade and Industry Minister, Paula Gopi-Schoon, has promised to look into the issue. Gerald Bryan has the details.
At a post-cabinet press briefing in Trinidad, the Twin Island Republic's Trade and Industry Minister, Paula Gopi-Schoon, was asked about the issue. According to the minister, the impediments to Guyana's exports may be related to sanitary and phytosanitary SPS issues. This, she noted, however, would have to be clearly established.
The issue was raised with regard to a specific agricultural product, and I think what was required now, I will take up that and liaise with our minister who has responsibility for agriculture, lands and fisheries, speak with our counterparts and establish clearly what is needed and move with speed to understand where the impediment is. It might be something that is absolutely correct, maybe for some kind of SPS measure, sanitary, phytosanitary measure or so.
Early in the week, the Guyana Manufacturer and Services Association held their annual luncheon. Among the attendees were Trinidadian businessmen who at another session revealed that they are also victims of these trade barriers since they want to import certain Guyanese products but can't. Minister Gopi-Schoon acknowledged that she was aware of the comments made by the businessmen. In fact, she said she is in contact with Dr. Ramesh Ramdeen, the CEO of the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association.
I read it actually, but I have been speaking with Ramesh Ramdeen, Dr. Ramdeen, who is the head of the delegates that have gone to Guyana, 27 companies, 40 persons, and they have been having meetings together with the Guyana Manufacturers Association, and very successful business-to-business meetings. In addition to the goods which we want to have sent, the extra goods which we want to have exported to Guyana, I understand that Pepe's Marketing and there may be one or two others have in fact contracted to bring some Guyanese products into Trinidad and Tobago, and really it has to be a win-win across for both countries.
Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
Finding teenagers who are interested in operating heavy-duty machines is rare, more so if they are females. However, a 19-year-old Berbice girl has defied the odds and acquired the skills to operate heavy-duty machines, through which she makes a living. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael spoke with her and filed this special report.
Krishana Singh of Block 1 Blaymont settlement was exposed to automobiles at a tender age, and then through the Ministry of Agriculture she got a break and took full advantage of it.
Oh, basically I grew up in an environment as in dealing with machinery, as my brother is a mechanic and I was there only most of the time, you know, getting involved in these things. And I was given the opportunity at the MDIA, which I'm very thankful, to, you know, started a career as an operator. I started servicing as in, you know, basic things, greasing, fuel up, wash, maintenance.
For how long you did that?
Like about 4 months.
And then how you started operating excavator? Well, from there, where you moved to, from greasing up and so?
From greasing, I moved to operating.
For Singh, despite the challenges of being young and also a female in the field, her main focus is to improve the lives of persons. When the Evening News met Singh, she was at Blaymont, West Bank, Berbice, working on the drainage and irrigation system there. The teenager says that the community will benefit from her efforts based on the quality of work she does.
On a daily basis, we encounter challenges, but for me, doing community work and seeing development within the community, that makes me happy. That gives me motivation, a daily motivation to do what I'm doing.
It has been about 9 months since Singh was given the opportunity by the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority to assist with community development and enhancement. She is encouraging other females not to be intimidated by jobs that may seem to have a gender preference.
You do face things and you hear, you know, all sorts of things on the road, but you have to put aside your pride and do what makes you comfortable and what you love doing.
Would you say that this job is, as some persons would say, it's a man's job?
At no point in time, no. What man can do, lady can do so. Gender equality.
For Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
We will now take a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Sunday, April 3rd at 3 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Sunday, April 3rd at 5 hours 15 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Mills focused on key aspects of play as European tournament draws near. This and more in the Sportscast sponsored by Macorp.
Moving, lifting, or bending, whatever the job, we at Sylvie's Variety Store have the right tools to make it happen. Pallet jacks and hand trucks for bonds and industrial sites, easy pickup and convenient maneuvers. Chain hoist from Roughneck and Northern Industrial, the perfect solution to lifting heavy objects. And then there's the 12-ton and 16-ton hydraulic pipe benders from 1/2 to 2 inch. We also stock the shop press machine from Northern Industrial. Sylvie's Variety Store stocks the tools to make it happen.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. We now shift our attention to some sports news. In 2 weeks' time, the Guyana national male under-16 football team